Hey, it's Rob, Florida Man in Exile. I want to tell you a little bit about my past and how I became the Florida Man in Exile. I was born in Bartow, Florida, Polk County, raised pretty much in Polk County between Lakeland and Highland City, and I ended up moving to St. Augustine. I consider all those places home. Well, let's say the first time I exiled myself is when I joined the Navy. 10 years, I ended up hurting myself. I had to get my neck fused, but I do what I do, and I have to be careful and be mindful of my limitations because of my neck, to be honest with you. I ended up coming back to Florida and went to film school, got a couple degrees, moved out west, been out here for about 10 years, a little longer than that, 10 years in Las Vegas and another 2 years in Flagstaff, Arizona. Yeah, I love it out here. My main thing that I enjoy most is camping. I love going out here into the desert, the red rocks, anything rocky. This time of year, now that it's starting to get hot, it's good to be up in the mountains where it's actually cooler. Today it's supposed to be 104 degrees, and that's just not anything that anyone needs to be in. So this time of year, I do what I can to get out of town. And that's a nice thing about Las Vegas, because I'm close to northern Arizona, where you're about 8,000, 10,000 feet, and you can, camp up there where it's gonna be in the 80s during the day, maybe 60s at night. Utah, there's a lot of mountainous stuff like that as well. Hell, even right here, we have Mount Charleston that's not too far away, and it's a quick way to beat the heat. It's maybe an hour. After finding your camp and everything, it's not too bad. Yeah, I'm gonna explore Nevada for the first time. It's gonna be like a 4th of July trip. That's the plan. I'm gonna take the 50 from Fallon to Ely, but I'm also gonna go up the 95 to Fallon, and I'm gonna take the 93 back to Vegas from Ely. So it's gonna be a big trip. It's a lot of miles. I don't really have that on what that is at the moment. Actually, let me do that real quick. Yeah, that's a lot of miles to calculate. Anyways, I'll have to calculate that and put it up maybe in the, I'll put it over here somewhere. How about that? That's where it says. You see that right there? That right there says how many goddamn miles it is. How about that? All right. So anyways, that's the plan. But at the end of this month, I'm gonna do some Grand Canyon stuff and a lot of northern Arizona stuff. I'm gonna take 2 days up there and maybe catch some of the parks that are in that area between Walnut Canyon and the Grand Canyon, Painted Desert. I mean, there's so much stuff in the northern Arizona national park wise. It's really worth going, especially if you have some sort of a pass, and they've made it a lot easier and actually a lot more affordable for US citizens to go to parks recently anyway. So by all means, go check it out. They're your parks and they're beautiful, especially out here west. Gosh, there's nothing like it. I love them out here. So I want to do a recap on the month of May, which it felt like I didn't get anything done, although I did a lot of work. I did 2 camping trips, and I also went out to an event. I went on a camping trip at the beginning of May. I wanted to go out to Death Valley. I got out there, and the winds were insane. Actually, the winds have been nothing but insane since May, and they're still pretty bad even today. Between 40 and 60 miles an hour in some cases, and pretty much sustained between, weird, but like between 5 and 20. So it's been kind of a weird camping month. When I went out there, I didn't think it was gonna be that bad. When I first got there, the wind wasn't too bad, and then you see me fighting the awning and the time lapse that we had because the wind started to pick up as I'm putting the awning up. Murphy's Law kind of shit. I get the awning up finally, and I get my tent up, and everything seems kosher. We don't have any winds for a good while, and I started doing my time lapse, and I could actually see the winds coming in through the time lapse. And actually, I was watching it real time. Like, wow, that's so beautiful. Look at that. Then I realized, oh shit, these are the winds that are hitting me right now. So all through the night, it was tough. I actually had to keep all the windows and the door open in the tent in order to have the wind flow come through so it wouldn't beat the tent up. I ended up taking the awning down and putting all the heaviest stuff I could on it to keep it so it wouldn't fly away. The next morning I decided that I was done. I'm not gonna fight this anymore. It's time to go. So I only did one night, and I didn't get much footage and a lot of the time-lapse stuff I'm happy with. It looks good, but I could have gotten more. But I was fighting that damn awning and tent so much that Maybe I should have like sat up the camera to watch me fight it. That would have been fun, but at the same time, I wasn't thinking about it. I was more worried about my property flying off to somewhere and it being found and somehow to blame for littering in the park, and that's the last thing I want to do. Getting some good footage of seeing, you know, how vast and beautiful and deadly, truthfully, Death Valley is. Why else would they call it that? It was that way because when the pioneers were coming over this way, it was, you know, people would die, especially in the summer, trying to cross it. So that's why it's called Death Valley. Yeah, that was a fun trip. I plan on doing it again. Hopefully, if I do it again, I would much rather have some sort of camping enclosure, whether that's a teardrop or like a camper shell with a bed on it. You know, that might not be a bad idea either. And the second time I went camping in May, again, ran into a big wind problem. We went out to Lake Mead, and we were planning on, I think I was planning on doing like 2 nights, but again, turned into 1. But I did get another great, you know, time lapse from that, which I'm grateful for, but I wish I, again, wasn't fighting a tent. And of course, I had my air mattress pop the same night too. So as my air mattress popped, I ended up going into the cab and sleeping in my cab that night with Maeve. That kind of sucked, but whatever, we did it. Yeah, so the Lake Mead trip was nice. I'm glad I was able to get the time lapse I did. It's pretty rad. But with that being said, it was a tough trip. Again, the winds have been so tough out here. I went to Overland Expo West 2026. It was my first time going, so I wanted to kind of like, you know, check it out the first time. I didn't really do a lot of videos. I did more like B-roll. I went up there without Maeve. I wanted to get in and out real quick and just check it out for the first time and actually ask a couple questions and learn. The first thing that I come across out there was a couple cool, a couple different trailers. And one of the main things is this hat right here. So with Frontier Unlimited, unfortunately, I didn't get a lot of footage of them because I was talking to their sales rep, and let me tell you, she was awesome. I'm not trying to blame her for anything because she was actually really impressive. She's very knowledgeable. She was telling me everything she could about the products that she had, and one of the main things that I got from it is that you can just buy the trailer road frame, the frame itself that has its, you know, off-road suspension, and you can build on top of that. And it's like $8,000. I thought that was a pretty good deal, especially if you want to build your own kit. That's probably the way I would go. It would look like a very well put together frame, and the welds look good. I mean, it looks like something that's sturdy. It's going to do very well off-road. So that's always a way if you're creative and you know, mechanically inclined enough to build your own rig. I would definitely go with that as your frame. I was fortunate enough to check out at Cedar Ridge. They make a couple different campers, but the one I'm going to focus on is the Deneb. And they have the Deneb AT, which starts out at like $14,995, which is pretty good. I mean, it's right around, that's right around where, you know, my tax bracket is, I think. It's not too bad. And then they have an XT, which starts at about $18,995, which is a little more, but it's definitely already off-road capable. Boom. You know, it's kind of like the package, it's like a package that gives you more off-road stuff, and then you go from there on what you want to do. It's very modular, and you can upgrade. You can buy it as is, and then come back and add to it. They're pretty cool about that. One of the things I really liked about their product is that you can remove the galley if you choose to get a galley. You don't even have to get one. You can just have an open trailer that you can put a mattress, the mattress is there, I mean, and you can then use it as a moving trailer too if you wanted to. You know, with or without the galley. You know, so if you have a galley, take it out. Boom. Now you have a trailer you can move stuff in. That's kind of cool. That's kind of a plus as well. All right, so the next thing is kind of an honorable mention, and it's the paws. Here's a little goddamn it here if you can see it or not. I find them to be really nice. I mean, very nice on the inside. They're very off-road capable. They have, I'm not sure if it's actually a Timbren suspension specifically, but it's more or less the same kind of, you know, independent suspension for a trailer, which is really nice. Very nice on the inside. It's very glamping. You have a restroom. I think it's a wet head, but still there's a head. It's pretty nice. This, I think, is their newest one. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's very small and compact, maybe 12 foot long. I like them, but they're way out of my price range. I'm not sure about the price on this one, but they usually range around like 70 $80,000 these. And like I said, I mean, it's got everything you need or want. And I think that's kind of the thing too. I mean, what do you need or want when you're camping, kind of is my question, because I don't really need a lot of that. But it'd be nice to have, I guess. I mean, if you have the money, I mean, do what you want to do with it. But it doesn't really feel campy to me. It feels more, let me bring this apartment that's on these awesome friggin' suspension and we can take it anywhere. I mean, can't complain about that. Maybe that's what I should do, is get one of these things and just live in it and just drive around the country. Here's another honorable mention. It's Encore makes a trailer that's called the ROG. The one I want to talk about is the 14 RKB, which stands for rear kitchen bath. That's right, this thing has a bathroom in it. It has a wet bath, and it's actually, I'm not gonna lie, for being in the teardrop category, or small compact trailer. As you can see, it's very roomy on the inside. Has a big bed, TV, everything you'd want. Beautiful kitchen with a refrigerator and a freezer. And in the back, you got the sink, and right next to all that, you have this head, and it's pretty spacious in there. It's a wet head, so you can take a shower in there if you need to or whatever, but it's enclosed, and it's pretty nice if that's something that you would want. So their newest thing, this I thought was awesome. It's the 12 RKFB, which stands for rear kitchen front bath. Now, this is the one that I would want. Now, this one's really cool, and I would be into it, and I think it's not that, I could be wrong on this, but I think it was around $27,000 for this one, which does seem not that bad to me again. But anyways, you have a front bath, which is really cool. I like that it's not enclosed with the trailer. It's kind of a tent. I like that. I personally like woods. I like being outside. That's why else would I be camping? But that's just me. But if I was gonna have a bath, that's how I would like it, to where it's more nature-ish, outhousey, I guess. Is that a word, outhousey? But anyways, that's just me. That's what I like, I like a view. All right, so the next one I want to talk about, which is starting to get more into my price range again, which is the Timberleaf. They're out of Grand Junction, Colorado. They do teardrops, and their teardrop that I think is probably the best bang for your buck is the Pica. It's big on the inside, definitely big enough for someone who's 6'3". They have a good power distribution, and the back galley comes with a refrigerator, and I believe it comes with a burner as well. But it's pretty good. I mean, you can pretty much be on the road, I think at like 17K out the door, which is not bad, not bad. Maybe it's 18, but still, either way, I mean, already it's ready to go out off-road. It's a good price for a machine if you just want to get out there, and it's not bad. It looks comfy. I would be into this. I would be into this a lot. I like it a lot. But again, check them out, Timberleaf. I like them. I think they're really cool. All right, now the next thing for me, this is what I might be into, and there's a couple reasons why. Truck top campers. Specifically, I like this one. It's the Explore Elevate. Probably the thing that I like the most right now, and here I have a couple reasons why. Number one, it has wiring, so it's wired for power, so I can put power onto it with like my Blue Eddy, and of course my Blue Eddy runs off solar, so that's good. The other cool thing is that with it powered like that, you can also have it to where it's rigged to your key fob. So now all those doors will lock or unlock to your key fob, which I like that as well. You can open it up and you can still use it in a utility sense, for moving stuff around if you're not using it to camp. You can set up however you want the inside of your bed to be for a living area if you want to do that. Or what I plan on doing is having an awning that goes around it, a 270 awning, and then, have my living area outside of it. And then the bed is huge, man. I'm not exactly sure the dimensions of it, and I don't think it says it on this at all. But yeah, it's called the, I believe the one that I'm looking at is called the Apollo. One of the amazing reasons why I like this is because I don't think there's any extra hidden charges. I put that on my truck, it's on my truck. I go get a teardrop and I have to go get that registered. I have to pay a tax on that of some sort, so it adds more money to it. And might be something I'm into later, but right now, you know, I think I'd be cool with just having something that's on my truck, and it makes it more mobile too. Like I don't have to worry about, hey, is the truck and the trailer gonna make it down this? I know the truck is, and I'm not pulling anything. So I kind of dig this, and I have to admit it's a little more roughing it in a sense, but at the same time, the bed is huge. There's a lot of ventilation, and I think this is what's probably best for me right now. This was a big recap, and I just wanted to throw it all together and let you guys know what happened in May. It was pretty brutal with the wind, but thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And for you Floridians, don't forget to pound your conch.